Planning a trip to Maui? Well, Maui might not be planning to have you. And if you're mobility impaired or a wheelchair user, you need to know this before visiting the island of Maui. Hi, I'm Kendall, your travel accessibility advisor, and in this video, I'm going to tell you everything I wish I knew about beach access when it comes to visiting the island of Maui. There is a PDF in the description box below going over key details in this video and timestamps as well for your convenience. I stayed on the west side of Maui for 2 weeks, and like anyone that vacations in Hawaii, I was thinking of that beautiful beach, or beaches, and I was thinking that because Hawaii is in the United States, surely there must be some beach wheelchairs available at public beaches. After all, I live in California and beach wheelchairs are not uncommon. And when I was researching beach wheelchairs, I did find one beach wheelchair in Kihei. Kihei Beach is a public beach, and I even called beforehand asking to confirm if there was a beach accessible wheelchair. And they said yes. And so there I was, so excited to have my day at the beach. When we got there,
so we were just told by the lifeguard that they no longer offer beach wheelchairs. They did at one point, and then a couple years back there was a storm and someone higher up just said we're not going to offer beach wheelchairs anymore. And that's incredibly frustrating. In principle, the fact that there are no public beach wheelchairs to use in Maui just kind of goes to show that disability is an afterthought. And you know, maybe the executives, the higher ups, or whoever made the decision to not include any beach wheelchairs on the island of Maui, maybe when they're older and they naturally have a difficult time with mobility, maybe they'll understand the weight of their decision. There's wheelchair accessible parking, there's ADA parking, so you can go in the parking lot if someone without an ADA placard didn't park in there already. So you can go to the parking lot, but you can't go to any of the beaches. And that's frustrating. That's really frustrating.
And this was a problem because as far as we both knew, this was the only beach wheelchair available on the island of Maui. Until this point, I just assumed that all public beaches in the United States had to provide a beach wheelchair or something equivalent to a beach wheelchair, but there's nothing in the Americans with Disabilities Act that says so. If a beach does provide these accommodations, they are provided because someone went out of their way. These public beaches, not just the ones in Maui, but in all of the US, are funded by taxes, meaning that a wheelchair user pays for the maintenance of these public beaches through their taxes, but is not guaranteed to have access to the beach. And I wasn't expecting an all-terrain wheelchair like I saw in Laguna Beach. I was expecting your standard run-of-the-mill beach wheelchair with air balloon tires, the type that requires the individual to be pushed from someone from behind. Ironically, as far as I'm aware of, public beaches do need to provide accessible parking and accessible bathrooms, but do not need to provide accommodations to assist individuals to get on the beach. But what's the point of having accessible parking if the destination itself is inaccessible? By making beach wheelchairs optional, accessibility becomes a luxury, not a requirement. But even at a luxury price point, accessibility is not guaranteed. I visited 4 of the most luxurious beachfront hotels in Maui: the Grand Wailea, the Four Seasons, the Ritz Carlton, the Fairmont, and the soon-to-be St. Regis. And only one of them provided a beach wheelchair for its guests. Hotels operate under the private sector, and there are accessibility rules that apply to them. When it's reasonably achievable, they are actually required to make amenities like their pools accessible. That's why you'll see things like pool lifts. But here's the gap. Nothing requires a hotel to provide a beach wheelchair, even if it's a beachfront property. But if someone's paying roughly $1,000 a night to stay at a hotel, is it not unreasonable to expect an accommodation like a beach wheelchair? Well, the Four Seasons in Maui doesn't think so. The Four Seasons was the only hotel out of the 4 hotels that we reviewed that offered a beach wheelchair to its guests. The Four Seasons beach wheelchair is on a first-come, first-served basis, just like it would be at a public beach. And it is not an additional charge. The other hotels recommended third-party companies that were an out-of-pocket cost to the consumer. The consumer would have to pay for their own beach wheelchair in order to access the beach. As of July 2026, a beach wheelchair ran about $150 a week, plus another $15 for coverage in case the wheelchair breaks. The Four Seasons also told us that a lifeguard will help us if we need help transferring from the lounge chairs onto the sand. Additionally, this Four Seasons location also has lifts at 2 of their pools. The cabanas closest to the accessible pool are held for guests using wheelchairs and mobility devices. So even if every cabana of the property sells out, they will not give the cabana away to someone who doesn't need the accessible cabana. Lastly, we were told that they're renovating more rooms to be accessible and that they're adding a chairlift at their family pool. The exciting part is that they're training their staff to better assist guests with mobility disabilities and guests with autism. These changes are scheduled to be made by 2027. Now, I don't want to skip past the other hotels because they have some really cool accommodations and they deserve to be talked about. The Ritz Carlton in Kapalua has a pool lift you can operate yourself and a slope entry to the pool, making it easier for people with mobility impairments. And they're the only hotel, at least that we know of, that has a lift to the hot tub. The Grand Wailea has the world's first water elevator. Built in 1991, several accounts say that the developer built it so that his own child, who had a physical disability, could ride the water slides like everyone else. The Fairmont representative told us that they run a bell cart service, basically a golf cart on call 24 hours a day, and that they will pick guests up and drop them off anywhere on the property. But it's worth saying again that of these 4 luxury beachfront hotels, only the Four Seasons offers a beach wheelchair for their guests, while the other hotels recommended third-party companies for their guests to rent wheelchairs from. To be clear, I'm glad that these wheelchair beach rental stores exist and that people can go to these stores and rent their own beach wheelchair for their vacation. My issue is that there is an absence of a beach wheelchair for the public. The rental stores should be an option, but not the only option. Not to mention that there are obstacles getting to the beach. There are flat pathways leading to the beach that these luxury hotels offer, but some areas are easier than others. The beach pathway that connects 3 of the luxury beachfront hotels, the Grand Wailea, the Four Seasons, and the Fairmont Hotel, is an interesting path because it appears to be both private and public property depending on where you are on the trail. So it's unclear to me to know what accessibility rules this path needs to follow. On the plus side, some of the warning signs are hilarious.
Okay, so we're at the Four Seasons at the Wailea in Maui, Hawaii. And we are about to go to the beach, but I saw this warning sign. It says, high surf, high cliffs, blowhole. All mostly natural disasters, right? And then there's the fourth one, which is possibility of crime. And I find that so funny because I guess anywhere you go, there's possibility of crime. But it's just that they felt the need to permanently put the sign up so that it just as a reminder, hey, stuff can happen down here. What type of stuff has happened down here? I don't know. And now I'm kind of curious. What's the tea?
So getting to the beach in Maui is challenging if you're someone who's mobility impaired. And not only is it challenging, it will be an out-of-pocket cost for the disabled individual. This is not just an issue on the island of Maui, it's an issue across the US. By making beach wheelchairs an option, it keeps the mobility impaired from being able to access a public beach. A beach that was funded by their own taxes. Good news, if you're watching this video, you're already making a positive difference. By viewing this video, you're adding to the view count and the algorithm will be happy. You can also comment down below, accessibility should not be a luxury. And if you're a US citizen, you can contact your local Parks and Recreation department or your local city council. And you can share this video with them and spread awareness. And it really does help. And if you liked this video, chances are you're going to love my Maui series, where yes, we go over the accessible and the inaccessible. And so if you need a happy reminder of what is doable in a wheelchair, I would recommend you check out my Maui alpaca video, where we talk to alpacas and they're so cute. And we also see a sunset from 10,000 feet in the air. I hope to see you soon, but until next time, enjoy your journey, traveler.